Hey, Amber, can you hear me? Hey, Kobe and Amber, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay.
Hey, Cindy.
Gotcha, Brian.
Hey. I guess we'll start in about 10 more minutes. So, in 10 minutes, if all the board members could make sure you guys turn on your cameras and stay muted unless you're going to be speaking. So, but we'll do that in about 10 more minutes. Okay.
Sounds good.
You can start whenever in 10 minutes. All right, Cindy.
Sounds good. I've got my cell phone so I can tell the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome to the April 21st, 2021 meeting of the Knox County Air Pollution Control Board. I would like to ask Melanie to call the roll.
Hey everybody, this is Melanie DeFord, Office Manager, and I'm going to do a roll call. Cindy Pionke,
Here.
Mike Conger,
Here.
Robert Burns,
Here.
Chris Howley,
Here.
Linda Reeves,
Here.
Doug Ross,
Here.
Robert Scott,
Here.
Chris Sharp,
Here.
Kira Sturdivant. Okay, I think that's it.
Well, we have a quorum, so we will continue on. Are there any amendments to the agenda today?
No, there's not.
Thank you, Brian. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion and a second?
Motion
So
to approve.
moved.
Do I hear thank you, Chris. Do
I
I hear a second?
Second, it's Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Is there any discussion on the minutes? I have one comment that we need to get adjusted. It's at the bottom of page 2. And as much as I admire you, Brian, Mr. Brain Rivera, you got needs to have that typo fixed. So,
Okay.
noting that change, do I have a, with that amendment to the minutes, do I have a motion and a second again to approve the minutes as amended?
Motion to approve as amended.
Thank you,
Second.
Chris.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. I will ask Melanie to call the roll.
Okay, Cindy Bianchi,
Yes.
Mike Conger,
Yes.
Robert Burns,
Yes.
Chris Howley,
Yes.
Linda Reeves,
Yes.
Doug Ross,
Yes.
Robert Scott,
Abstain.
Chris Sharp,
Yes.
and Tara Sturdivant.
Okay. The minutes are approved. Next on the agenda, do we have any citizen comments or requests?
We didn't receive any.
Thank you, Brian. So we will move on to the director's update. So that's back to you, Brian.
I just wanted to give you guys a few administrative updates first. The first one would be that we have a new point of contact in the law department. Her name is Jessica Jernigan Johnson, and she's on the meeting with us here today. So just wanted to let you all know. She will be the law department's representative for this board going forward. So she takes the place of Myers Morton. I also wanted to mention that this is going to be the last meeting for 3 of our board members. And those 3 are Cindy Bianchi, Tara Sturdivant, and Chris Howley. And I just wanted to thank you guys for serving on this board for all those years and everything you've done. And I really appreciate you guys being a part of this. So,
Well, thank you, Brian. I've enjoyed my time on the board, so thank you. You've been great to work with. And I have no idea if either, well, Tara's not on, but Chris, if you wanted to say anything.
I appreciate the opportunity as well. I actually haven't been on the board that long. I was fulfilling Jim Hagerman's spot for many years. So I'm glad I could fill in where I could towards the end here, but I do appreciate the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Back to you,
All
Brian.
and all right. And so a few more updates for you guys. Internally in our department, the last board meeting, I told you guys we were beginning to utilize the field services database for our facilities permitting going forward. And I've set a goal for our department to make sure all of our permit records get uploaded into this database by the end of the year. And so far, towards today, we're at about 35% of our facility files getting uploaded into the database. So we're making good time on getting that stuff uploaded into it. So we're also working with our IT department to update our website so that it has more information for the public and so our new forms and items like that. However, due to a lot of COVID-19 issues, our IT department hasn't been able to start on that project yet. So hopefully by the next board meeting, I'll be able to show you guys the new and updated website that we'll be putting together. And so on the EPA front, I wanted you guys to know that Michael Regan was confirmed as the next administrator for the EPA. And however, there hasn't been a nomination for the assistant administrator of the Office of Air and Radiation. And this is the person who oversees the air program in EPA. So we're still waiting to see who's going to be the administrator of that department. And also, there hasn't really been any new proposals for changes for air regulations from the EPA to date. So stay tuned on that, but we haven't seen anything. And lastly, there has been some movement to actually increase the air grants that we receive to run these programs through some congressional action. I know in the American Rescue Plan Act that was passed, there was some money allocated for the air program grants. And so EPA is currently figuring out how they want to disperse it down to the programs. So I think that's the first time in 14 years we're going to get additional funds. So we're kind of excited and happy about that. And going forward, it looks like there's some movement to also start increasing these grants going forward. So, and to kind of give you guys an update on the liquid environmental facility that I've talked about the past few meetings. And that's the grease trap recycling facility that we received a lot of odor complaints about. Wanted to let you know that the facility completed extending the stack for their scrubber system. And once that was completed, we've gone out there and done some more odor assessments around the facility. And even during all this, we've picked up a new a tool for this. It's called a nasal ranger. And it's basically a tool that allows us to kind of put a scale to the intensity of how potent that smell is. And so we've been using that along with revising our policy on determinations of objectionable odors to see if these controls are working. And to date, we have not had a violation. So the facility is currently in compliance with our rules as of this date, but it's not the summer yet, which is the hottest months. So we'll see how it reacts during the summer months. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amber to give you guys an update on our air monitoring program. So Amber.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let y'all know ozone season started March 1st without any hiccups or any problems. The American Lung Association has issued their grades for Knox County, and we received a B for ozone and an A for PM 2.5. And lastly, so far this year, we've had 2 exceedances of the PM 2.5 standard. Those were mainly, we believe, well, they had some not wildfire, but controlled burn influences in those. And so one was on March 8th. There was a fire in Granger County, and plus there was some smoke coming into the area from the wildfires in Oklahoma. And on April 6th, there was a lot of planned controlled burns, and those impacted our data adversely. That's all I got.
Does anyone have any questions for Amber? Seeing none, we will move on to the regulatory revisions. And I believe,
Cindy, I guess I did have a question for Brian.
oh, okay, go ahead.
His part there, and I didn't realize so many members' terms were up. I guess that's about a third of the board here, and obviously thank those folks for their service, and especially you, Cindy, for serving as the chair for quite a while. I'm not sure how long now, but are those slots already filled? And with Cindy being the chair, how do we handle replacing her? Is that next meeting, or just curious about some of that?
Yeah, all the positions have received nominations from their nominating committees. They're going before county commission next month. And so, well, once county commission approves it, then they become members of the board effective July 1st. And the election of the chair and the vice chair is done in the July Air Board meeting. So we will be doing that at our next meeting.
Okay. Could you send us maybe the names of the folks or the link to the agenda or something that has the names of the ones being considered by county commission?
Yes, I can send you all that information after the meeting. I'll email it out to all you guys.
All right, that's good. So maybe with so many new board members, I don't know if you were planning to do maybe some training or whatever, just information on how the board works and that type of thing might be helpful for all of us.
Yeah, I was planning in the July Air Board meeting. Now, I don't know if it's going to have to be in person or still virtual at this time, but we are planning on, I know I will be reaching out to the new board members and talking to them each individually. And also, I was going to be reaching out to the law department to do some sort of training for all of our board members at the July meeting. So that was definitely top of my mind. So.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks.
I know one thing, Brian, that helped me, I think when I first joined, we took a tour of one of the air monitoring stations just to see the nuts and the bolts of it. That, for me, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, and that's the plan for October. So you guys are reading my mind.
Great.
So, well, good news is it sounds like things are in the works and continuity will be assured. So that's a good thing. So anybody else have any questions for Brian in regards to anything that he has presented yet today before we move on to the regulatory revisions? I'm not seeing anything in terms of microphones coming off, so we'll continue on with the regulatory revisions. And I'm assuming that's Will, or?
It's going to be me. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay,
Been my
sorry
baby.
about that.
So, yeah, this is something I've been pushing the state to do for a while so that we could adopt it. These regulatory revisions are in mirror of what the state TDEC office did in their air program to allow public noticing of draft air permits on the website instead of publishing them in the newspaper. And currently our practice is to pass on part of that fee to our facilities during this process. But being able to put it on our website, we'll be able to remove that fee from our industry. And it also will increase how fast we can actually issue these permits. So we don't have to wait for a 30-day period to start, because we would have to wait for it to get it published into the newspaper. And then that starts at 30 days. And of course, you have to submit it to them beforehand. So that always took some extra time. So, and there's a few of the provisions of the programs, specifically the Title V program, and which is the major source program, and the major new source review programs. We will still have the option that if we feel it's necessary to go ahead and publish a newspaper publication, along with still doing the noticing on our websites. So.
And I actually, in regards to the text that was sent out that tied back to the revisions, I had a couple questions for you. So the good news is it's only a couple, real simple. If you go to about the middle of the second page, section 25.70-G.8.A, I noticed, because Will had sent out what he said was an updated version with EPA comments versus the one that came out with the agenda that we received earlier, that there was a change in line 3, that where the beginning of the line starts, department's website. the next word is either and on one version and or on the new version by other means designated by the director if necessary. So I was wondering, is that supposed to be an and or an or? It makes a difference.
It's supposed to be the and. The version we sent out this afternoon was after we received all the public comments. And so if you look on the third page of the one we sent out,
Okay, today's, okay.
there's a section 4 where it says public comments and air quality responses.
Yes.
So this is the version where we only got a comment from EPA, but if we did receive public comment, their comments would be here and our responses would be there.
Gotcha. Okay. And then in that same section, this is just an editor. I can't help myself with the red ink pen, but on the very last line, where you struck and by other means if necessary, that whole line came out. That semicolon before that needs to be a period, since the rest of it dropped out.
The way that that's structured, they're all semicolons all the way down. Each of those, there's an A, a B, a C, a D. So it's just the way it was written into the record.
Okay, my mistake, sorry. Thank you. And then I was going to ask under 41.3-B.3, can you just off the top of your head figure out when there might be a time when the director might deem it necessary to advertise in the paper, like what circumstances that might be?
Yeah, there's certain communities where it may not be accessible for them to have reliable internet to view this, even though you still can, go to a library, look it up typically from those areas. So, and this also goes towards areas where EPA kind of terms environmental justice areas, where they're usually typical low income type of communities also that may get the paper, but not everybody have internet access in this day and time. So the situations like that, it reserves that option to be able to do that enhanced public engagement to make sure that we get all the comments from the communities.
Okay, that makes sense. It was just that when I read it, I was trying to think of a circumstance and I did not think of that. So thank you. Does anybody else have any questions in regards to the revisions? So at this point, I'm assuming, Brian, this is going to be one motion to approve sections 25.0, 41.0, and 45.0.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So do I have a motion and a second to approve the regulatory revisions as distributed by the staff of the Air Pollution Control Board?
I move that we approve the revisions as distributed.
Do I have a second?
I can second.
And Melanie, I need you to call the roll.
Okay, this is Melanie again. Cindy Pianki,
Yes.
Mike Conger,
Yes.
Robert Burns,
Yes.
Chris Howley,
Yes.
Linda Reeves,
Yes.
Doug Ross,
Yes.
Robert Scott,
Yes.
Chris Sharp,
Yes.
and Tara Sturdivant.
Okay, the motion carries and those items have been approved. And if I read the information that you forwarded, Brian, you will be mailing out the resolutions to everybody separately for their signature, since we're not meeting in person and being able to sign it all at once. Is that correct?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is send the board order to each of you guys with a self-addressed prepaid envelope. So all you have to do is sign it and just put it in the envelope and mail it back to us. Or if you want to swing by and drop it off at the health department, whichever method you guys would like.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Is moving on to the enforcement update. Is there anything is that you, Brian?
Yeah, I could take care of that one too. People are shy. No. Anyway. So we had a few enforcement actions during this time period of January through March. Kind of the typical violations we've seen, people burning leaves or burning, trash and items like that. We did have one facility violation where they self-reported a violation. And that was one of our gasoline bulk terminals where they failed to do one of their tank seal inspections within 60 days of startup. I think they did it within 63 days of startup, so they were pretty close. And they failed to send us a notification for that. But other than that, it's a lot quieter enforcement compared to last year this time. So
That's good news for you and your staff. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Brian in regards to enforcement efforts? Okay, not seeing anything. Are there any other reports, Brian?
no, not at this time.
Any other business? And that could be anybody could bring it up in addition to Brian. It appears we have no other business. Do I have a motion and a second to adjourn? Don't be shy.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're done before 5.